Do you think it could increase the chances for fraud if states like California are mailing ballots directly to voters without them having to request them first? There have been concerns raised that, addresses change. People receive mailings from companies addressed to previous owners of their homes. Do you think that could create more confusion if states are sending out ballots automatically to registered voters?
Well, this is Stacey. I would actually say no, in part because one of the ways the absentee ballot process works is that it gets you the ballot, but you still have to demonstrate that you were the appropriate recipient. And those ballots will be matched against records that are maintained by the elections official. That's the process that actually helps to uncover the election fraud that occurred in New Jersey, the election fraud that occurred in North Carolina. And so while there may be some confusion, I don't believe that confusion outweighs the utility of being able to make it easier for voters to get access to this information, particularly given the fact that the President of the United States is slowing down the process of receiving and returning mail. And therefore, for a lot of states like Nevada, which passed this law, and states that have maintained this type of process, Colorado, Utah, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington State, the minimum harm that can be created by expanding access is more than met by the utility of having these processes to actually get voters to turn in their information and get voters included in the process.
I had a quick follow-up, too. You've probably heard a lot of speculation about how long Americans will have to wait to get the results. Some people are saying into Thanksgiving. What would be your assessment of that? Do you think Americans will have to wait late in November or maybe early December because of all the mail-in voting going on to get the actual results of the election?
I think that depends on the U.S. Senate. If the Senate finances the scaling of infrastructure, then the counting of ballots can be fairly quick. One of the reasons for the extraordinarily long delays we've seen this year is because you have cash-strapped states that are facing, instead of 5 to 10% usage rate, facing up to 50% usage rates of mail-in voting without the infrastructure scaled and the staffing necessary to quickly process. If the states get the resources they need, I think it probably will be a 5 to 10 day period at max. But if they don't get the funding they need, then yes, you could see what's happening in New York. You could see what happened in Wisconsin, what happened in Kentucky. We will see delays. And the way to solve for those delays is to scale up the capacity. Because the reality is people are not going to, unfortunately, most people will do their best to not die. And in the United States, where people are now dying at a rate of 1 per minute with COVID-19, and we're still in the first wave, by the time we get to early voting and absentee voting, we know that the risk to people for standing in line will be high, and Americans are going to be desperate to change what's happening. And so if the Senate will do its part, then we will be able to process those returns very quickly. If the Senate does not do its part, that will not stop Americans from trying to vote. But as both Leah and Sean have articulately pointed out, they're going to have to risk their lives to do it, or they're going to have to face chaos in responding.